Hi, this is Dick Clark live in Times Square, New York City for the 10th annual New Year's Rockin' Eve. Our first year back in 1972 was a little cold. Tonight it's relatively mild. It's about 41 degrees, but we've got a good crowd in the square, and ABC's live cameras will be here to cover the traditional ball dropping. The ball this year is going to be a Big Apple, and we'll talk to you more about that. In the meantime, out in Hollywood, we have Barry Manilow, Rick James, Rick Springfield, the Four Tops, Alabama, my co-host Tom Wopat, and Charlene Tilton, and you are about to become a part of one of the largest television audiences ever for a New Year's Rockin' Eve. It's our 10th anniversary, and just a little less than a half an hour we'll welcome in the new year. Right now, you and yours are cordially invited to join us here live in the square. Let's go now to Hollywood.
Good evening. Tonight from Hollywood and Times Square in New York, ABC Television invites you to the best party of the year, Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve 82.
Tonight's special is brought to you by Nice and Easy. Color and condition that should have been yours can be. Make it happen. Nice and Easy. And Dr. Pepper. Be an original. Be a pepper. And by Sugar-Free Dr. Pepper.
Starring Alabama, the Four Tops, Rick James, Barry Manilow, Rick Springfield, plus live reports from Dick Clark in Times Square. And your host this evening, from the television shows Dallas and Dukes of Hazzard, Charlene Tilton and Tom Wopat.
Charlene, you look great. Nice outfit.
Well, thank you, Tom. You look pretty handsome yourself. I didn't know they wore tuxedos down in Hazard County.
Well, they don't generally, but tonight we got a lot to celebrate. Well, you see, actually, we're spending the evening together. That's enough reason to celebrate, isn't it?
Oh, thank you. But besides that, tonight is a very special night because it's the 10th anniversary of Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Laugh, you silly fool. This may look cozy to you. Can you see that? It's about 40, 41 degrees. It's raining slightly, but it hasn't dampened anybody's enthusiasm. I'm right here below the flagpole on top of #1 Times Square with our live ABC cameras here at 42nd Street facing north. We also have cameras on top of the Criterion Theater marquee down there on 45th Street. We got 6 first-run theaters down there. We got our cameras jammed on top of the marquee. Let me wave at you. I don't know whether you can see me from all the way down there, but as you move on up, you'll see me up here flagging my arms around like a madman, and everybody down below is having a whale of a good time. You will see the apple fall here at midnight. It's 6 feet in diameter. It's been changed from a ball. This year, it'll, of course, light up 1982 at the bottom, and our friend Russ Brown will be up there directing, watching our digital clock right here on ABC so that we're all coordinated. First ball fell in 1907. The new apple was built by the grandson of the original builder, Jacob Starr. Jonathan Starr built this one. I recall last year, the ball was dimmed for the hostages in their 424th day of captivity. 20 days later, after New Year's, thank goodness they were released. And you will see all of the activity here live on ABC's New Year's Rockin' Eve, along with all of the activity from Hollywood. More ABC coverage of Times Square and New Year's Rockin' Eve right after this. Don't you dare go away.
Well, let's switch live to Dick Clark in New York City.
You know, we have been standing out here for about 10 years now on New Year's Rockin' Eve, and I was reflecting on what the weather's been over the course of the years. Tonight, about 40 degrees, slight rain. Does not dampen the enthusiasm of those people down there in the square. In, let's see, 1980, I think, was our warmest year. It was about 38 to 39 degrees. We're on 40 this year. The last year was very cold, 22 degrees up here, and the coldest year we ever had was 1977. It was 13 degrees out that night, and the wind chill factor was 2 to 22 degrees below zero. I think that was the year I was standing up on top of an aluminum ladder. But as you look down there, you suddenly realize that nobody's worried about whether it's good weather or bad weather. They begin to gather here about, 11 o'clock, even before that. And then it's in that X-shaped plaza starting at 42nd Street north of 47th Street. Since 1904, over 23 billion people have visited Times Square. 1.5 million every 24 hours come by here. Now a word from the diet soft drink with a taste that's going to open your eyes. Sugar-free Dr. Pepper.
Darlene, for 10 years now, Dick Clark has been filling us in on all the action in Times Square.
I really enjoy watching all those people. They always look like they're having such a great time.
Well, there they are. Umbrellas, signs, all sorts of paraphernalia, horns, everything you can think of. It's 40 degrees. It's a little chilly, not too much wind. And it's a young, enthusiastic crowd joining us out here. I was just thinking over the last 10 years, some of the things that have happened. In 1972, we were here talking about the fact that Watergate was in the headlines. The #1 record of the year was The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face by Roberta Flack. That was 10 years ago. In 1975, gasoline was 57 cents a gallon. Nobody out there tonight is worried about times past, but it's been an interesting stay here on New Year's Rockin' Eve. The show has grown and grown, and enthusiastic support for which we thank you. And it's always kind of fun to be vicariously here at the biggest New Year's Eve party in the world. There's no place like Times Square. Piccadilly you can have in England. Hi, Dick. Hello, backwards, whatever way. That, of course, is in London, Piccadilly, Pigalle, in Pigalle, I guess I should say, in Paris, and the Ginza in Japan, and there are friends from Chicago down there. But I tell you, there is no place in the world like Times Square on New Year's Eve. About 250,000 people with us tonight. That's about normal for the evening. And it really doesn't seem to matter what the weather is. They're here in great force, and we've got a great show lined up. The midnight hour is on its way, and there's more live coverage coming up here on ABC right after this. Well, we're getting close, just about 6 minutes, and the Big Apple will fall from the highest point here at #1 Times Square. And everybody down in that square will have their eyes glued right up here. By the way, speaking of #1 Times Square, we would like to thank Lawrence Lincoln and all of our friends here who made our stay possible. By the same token, the Criterion Center, Mr. Charles Moss, who always lets us get down close into that crowd and see the happy faces and the crazy signs and the get-ups that they have on. Without their help, our ABC cameras just couldn't give you this live coverage. And as you see, we have less than 5 minutes now. What's that? Boca Raton is here tonight. Oh, it's a little colder here than it is down there. 11:55:37, and we're counting down to midnight. You'll notice way up on top of #1 Times Square, there is what appears to be in the long distance shot a red ball, and it will move down the flagstaff. They'll watch that digital clock along with us, and the crowd, as it gets closer and closer, will begin to scream and yell and just go bananas. By the way, as a matter of trivia, they have a lot of the storefronts are boarded up tonight, and New York's finest are out in full force, about 2,000 of them interspersed in the crowd. And it's quite an evening. It's an evening with happy people and lots of noisemakers and everybody having a good time. And it's a night that will be remembered. Everybody's waving to the friends. They have no idea in a billy goat whether they're being seen at home or not. There are 125 hotels within 1 mile of us here tonight. 5 subways converge on this area. 55,000 hotel rooms, 35 legitimate theaters, all within this little confined area here. Electric lights first came to the square in 1880. 1904, the first year we had this New Year's celebration. Needless to say, I wasn't here, but it's been rumored that I was, but I wasn't. They had fireworks that year. The St. Louis World's Fair Concert Band was on hand to perform. As a matter of fact, right before midnight, they shot off a stick of dynamite, and that's how it all started. The only time the square hasn't been lighted in recent years was during World War I and World War II. The signs, these spectacular signs that light up this area, were able to be seen all the way out to sea. Now, as we move around here, over the heads of these crowds, you can see some of the signs off in the distance. Some of them take 2.5 million candle power. The electricity alone for 1 month can run up to $10,000 a month. The letters are 20 feet high. And you can begin to see now that the folks down there, loving New York, are ready to count it down with us. We have less than 3 minutes to 1982. And as we get closer, you will hear increased intensity in the voices of the people down there. We got less than 2 minutes now, or just about 2 minutes, coming up there. The rain is coming down just a little bit, not too bad. That's the viewpoint right in front of the Criterion Theater as we look out from #1 Times Square. You can see there's police barricades are up. There are some streets left open. Syracuse, we love you too, Bud George. All right, we're getting close. They can tell now. They know what's going to happen. You hear the increase in the crowd voices. A minute and a half to go. The whole world has its eye on Times Square. And you're seeing it live on ABC's New Year's Rockin' Eve as we welcome in for the 10th annual time New Year's Rockin' Eve in Times Square in Hollywood, California. There's the Big Apple up there. This year sponsored by a local radio station in New York. There was a time for a moment when we thought maybe the ball would not be lighted. And the civic-minded radio station came along and took care of all of that for us, and we thank them because that's the thing that's going to happen. You see that little dot of light down about, it looks like, a couple of inches below the big red apple? And you'll see it slowly begin to descend. It's moving down. It's under the direction of Mr. Russ Brown, who's been in charge of lowering that ball for a lot of years. Into approaching 30 seconds now. You can see the top light and the bottom light. It's not quite approaching the midway staff point. When it hits the bottom, it'll be 1982 in 30 seconds from now. Listen to that crowd. The Big Apple in New York City, 20 seconds away from a brand new 1982. Before pandemonium breaks loose, let me wish you on behalf of ABC and all of our New Year's Rockin' Eve friends a Happy New Year to you in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,